Big question is, how do I finance my book? I've discovered, I've worked for 3 years now, that sales go up right after income tax refunds come out. So there's a great way. Use your tax refund. Another way is to sell pre-sale copies about 3 months before your book is going to come out. Send out your marketing, your e-blast, your website or whatever, and let people know that you can buy it in advance, and then you're collecting that money. Another way is to find investors. If you have friends and family that want to invest in your book, make sure everything is in writing, but allow them a chance to invest and help spread the risk of your book, and also enjoy the profits from your book. I would suggest, though, don't risk any more than you can lose. Whatever you do, don't mortgage your house. And one of the reasons that ACW Press does not take credit cards is that we don't want you in debt for 17, 20%. So just be aware that we're not here to make maximum money. We're here to provide an ethical, competent, credible source of self-publishing. But we don't want you going head over heels in debt, because it is a risk. You may think you've got the greatest thing since the shack, and you spend thousands of dollars and realize, boy, this is not selling at all. There wasn't a market. And so that's why you have to do your homework. Make sure that you know how to reach that market, and really do your homework. Shop and compare. There are literally hundreds of self-publishing companies out there. And most of them are legitimate, but there are also a lot of scams out there. So check with the Better Business Bureau. You put ACW Press in Better Business Bureau, we come back smelling like a rose. Editorsandpredators.com is another great site, and they'll tell you who the con artists are. So is it possible to get your message out there using this model of self-publishing? The answer is unequivocally yes. In 1993, a 20-year-old man from Utah, he had never written a book, had no publishing experience, he had no knowledge of the book industry, very little money. He writes his first book, he photocopies it and gives it to his family and friends for Christmas. That goes quite well, so he prints 8,000 copies for his book, sells them at local bookstores. In 1995, just 2 years later, he receives a $4.2 million advance from Simon & Schuster. It sells 7 million copies in 17 different languages, and it's made into a TV movie starring, whoever played John Boy on The Waltons? It was Richard Paul Evans' The Christmas Box. And now more recently, we have The Shack. Now, those are obviously the exceptions. The average book's going to sell 5,000 copies. But it does show you the potential for self-publishing. And I've been very, very grateful that the 2 books I self-published about 20 years ago were picked up by Tyndall House and picked up by Wesleyan Publishing House. My agent and I talked about self-publishing this. She had been pitching it for 9 years. It's a book on suffering with a lot of humor. And she says, Jim, I'm getting great reviews. People love it. They love your humor, but they just don't see a book on humor book on suffering. But we're hoping, just kind of like the Living Bible. Well, there's no need for a paraphrased Bible. There's no need for a book on suffering from a humorous perspective. And so our intent is, let's self-publish it. Let's see how it sells. And then if it starts taking off, and you can buy a copy at the back of the room, if it starts taking off, then we can go to a major publisher and say, are you interested in this? It sold X thousands of dollars, or X thousand copies, and you might be interested in you taking it on. And that's one of the reasons that I finally went ahead and got it self-published. I knew there was a market for it, but publishers didn't seem to think there was a market for it. In the last decade, ACW Press has published about 300 authors. Some of them have had real success. The Hallelujah Diet, we printed 25,000 so far. Reg is talking to them about another 20,000. Hallelujah, a novel, was a Christie finalist. From 9/11 to 666, regularly sells a couple hundred per month through FaithWorks. And several of our books have been picked up by royalty publishers. So if you have any further questions, we'll take time for some questions here, but if you're listening at home or by video, just go to acwpress.com, or you can email me anytime. I've got some business cards here. If I didn't have a chance to give you one of those when you came in, I'll be sure you pick one up, but jim@jameswatkins.com. So I'd be glad to help you. Any additional questions you have?